The space rivalry between the United States and Russia is well known, but did you realize that China also has ongoing lunar projects? The space community has recently been rocked by the discovery of something peculiar and thought-provoking on the dark side of the moon. Inflation adjusted, the United States spent almost $288 billion to reach the moon in 1969. Now, China has discovered something, and the United States is enraged because it did not discover it first for decades. Powerful nations have been competing against one another in the space race. What is the China new discovery? Let's find out in this video. Hello, and welcome to Building the Future. In today's video, we're going to talk about scientists' terrifying new discovery on the moon will change everything. But before we continue, just take a moment to subscribe to our channel, Building the Future, and hit the notification bell for more amazing videos just like this one. Without further ado, let's get started on today's video. As countries race to not only study it, but also move into deep space, the cratered world of the moon is the next primary target for them. Since the turn of the century, China has experienced rapid economic growth, which has increased spending on space programs and resulted in numerous significant achievements in the decades since. On October 31, 2000, China launched the first satellite of Baidu-1, the country's experimental regional navigation system that it is developing to compete with GPS. A Long March 2F rocket launched astronaut Yang Liwei into orbit on October 15 in 2003, where she spent more than 21 hours aboard the Shenzhou spacecraft. China became the third nation to launch people into space on its own. Guys, this is not enough. China started preparing for extraterrestrial exploration simultaneously, beginning with the moon. In January 2004, the Chinese moon orbiting program received approval. Later, it changed its name to the Chinese Lunar Exploration Program. China became the fifth country to orbit the moon. China has successfully launched their own lunar orbiter on 24 October 2007. This is what China does on the moon. Year after year, Chinese scientists amaze other countries, and now it's happened again. China is currently one of the leading contenders in the race, and a recent finding is increasing its chances. Chinese scientists have seen a new thing that has never been found on Earth before. The vice chairman of the China Atomic Energy Authority, Dong Baotong, announced the discovery. What is China's discovery about the moon, and how they found out? Does this discovery get approved? Want to know? So watch the video till the end. Recent research by Chinese scientists has added to the corpus of knowledge about the Earth's satellites that had been the subject of earlier space travel. According to the announcement, the new lunar mineral was discovered among samples brought back from the moon during a mission 2 years ago. The researchers found a single crystal of a new phosphate mineral called change site Y while examining lunar basalt, or solidified lava pieces, according to a story in the state-run newspaper and website, The Global Times. The discovery, made public last Friday, was related to Change 5, a mission China's more ambitious goals for space exploration have used to retrieve lunar samples successfully. It brought back lunar rocks and dirt in December 2020 for the first time in about 4 decades, collecting several pounds of samples, according to experts. According to the China National Space Administration, the International Mineralogical Association's Commission on New Minerals, Nomenclature, and Classification, which examines the introduction of minerals and their naming, confirmed change site Y as a new mineral. To comprehend planetary evolution, lunar samples are the coin of the realm, according to James Head, a professor of geological sciences at Brown University. Scientists have improved their understanding of how the moon evolved through the analysis of materials obtained by NASA decades ago, during the Apollo lunar landing era, and afterward by the lunar robotic landers of the Soviet Union. According to scientists, these observations, combined with the outcomes of current computer modeling, provide evidence in favor of the hypothesis. The moon was formed from the planetary debris following an Earth-Mars collision. NASA reported collecting 200 samples of lunar rocks, core samples, pebbles, sand, and dust from the lunar surface throughout the 6 Apollo missions. These missions were carried out between 1969 and 1972. The agency said in a March press statement that in advance of the Artemis moon missions, NASA recently opened one of its remaining Apollo mission samples for further analysis. The China National Space Administration dispersed the first batch of lunar samples from the Change 5 mission in July 2021. With a 23-day task, one of China's most sophisticated and complex space missions, the country became the 3rd country to gather objects from the moon after the United States and the former Soviet Union. According to a NASA release, fresh samples gathered from diverse moon locations will advance our knowledge of the planet's volatile deposits and geologic development. According to Professor Head, the majority of sampling up to this time has concentrated on the central area of the moon's near side, the hemisphere facing Earth. Clive Neal claims there aren't many novel minerals on the moon. Neal is a professor of planetary geology at the University of Notre Dame. The first is referred to by the portmanteau term armalcolite, which refers to the mission's 3 astronauts and was found during the Apollo 11 mission. The mineral sample, which has a single crystalline particle with a diameter of 10 microns, was painstakingly isolated by researchers from more than 140,000 tiny particles and then examined using various cutting-edge mineralogical techniques. According to the research, one of the central institutions of China National Nuclear Corporation, Li Xiang, which is the institute's chief scientist for lunar sample study, believes that the discovery of the new mineral will significantly impact academics' research into the past and physical properties of our moon. Robotic mission Change 5 was launched on November 24 from the Wenching Space Launch Center in the Hainan province of South China. It was one of history's most crucial space missions when it landed on the moon on the 1st of December. It was the 3rd spacecraft in the world to touch down on the lunar surface in the 21st century, following its 2 Chinese predecessors, Chang'e 3 and 4. Around 44 years after the last lunar materials were returned from our nearest neighbor, history was made on December 17, 2020. That historic mission delivered 1,731 grams of lunar rocks and dirt back to Earth. Well, we all know that China's work is always extraordinary, but there is a question. Did they get approval this time or not? Let's check it out. The Tsai Jinping government has approved the 4th phase of the lunar missions, and China is moving quickly forward with its lunar program in light of the finding of the new mineral. The state's consent was made public by the China National Space Administration. The Change 6 probe's manufacturing is virtually finished. After consulting with engineers and scientists, we decided to have the Change 6 probe collect samples from the far side of the moon and send them back to Earth to comprehend the moon better, because Change 4 visited there for the first time. Consequently, the samples will have a considerably higher value. China will build a research outpost on the moon in the upcoming 10 years as part of the new phase. After Change 6, which will return the samples from the surface, the Change 7 spacecraft will be sent to the moon's South Pole. The project could get more steam in 2022 thanks to China's intentions to construct a research facility on the lunar surface. The feasibility studies for the 4th stage of Beijing's lunar exploration program were finished in 2021. China and Russia took a memorandum of understanding for the research station's construction last year. Future lunar exploration missions, including those from China and the United States, aim for uncharted areas. According to Professor Neal, the moon's evolution could be better understood by scientists with samples from other geologically fascinating areas, particularly from the younger territory on the planet. He continued, "The moon is still disclosing some fascinating secrets." What do you think is coming next on the moon? Did you want to know about other planets? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to read them. We hope you have enjoyed this video. Feel free to share your thoughts down below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel Building the Future and hit the bell icon for more intriguing content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.